Welcome to Byte-sized Canvas. I'm Helen Graves, and today we're talking about how to increase the chances that your announcements are getting read. Okay, gang, here's a pop quiz. What is the fastest way to disengage the human brain? Answer: presenting something that is tedious or boring. The biggest mistake instructors often make with the Canvas announcements tool is sending out rather dull, often lengthy, just the facts, ma'am, announcements. I'm guessing the reason you take the time to send announcements is to create connection and offer important reminders about actions your students can take to be more successful, like studying for this week's quiz or an interesting tidbit you found that relates to your topic. But if students aren't reading them, your announcements can't have the effect you want. Here's a wild and crazy idea. Think of your announcements as a marketing tool. At first blush, you may say that's a somewhat crass analogy, but human nature is such that people typically need a reason to take action. The very goal of marketing is to get someone to do something, despite the fact that they may be reluctant or too busy or don't even realize it's to their advantage to do it. Your students are human, right? Come on, they are. So bottom line, your class roster is comprised of at least some, if not many, overscheduled, action-averse, or simply unaware human beings. Why not maximize your ability to influence their behavior by applying a few simple marketing principles? People who study persuasion and marketing will tell you there are two parts to getting someone to take action. You've got to get their attention, and you've got to show them the benefit, both of which require you to set your instructor perspective aside and think student-centered. With that in mind, here are 3 strategies to help make sure students are actually reading your announcements. Subject lines absolutely make a difference. If they ignore that, they'll never see the announcement itself. Make sure your subject lines are benefit-rich. Which one catches your eye? Number 1 or number 2? Again, number 1 or number 2? No one wants to read long messages, so avoid the urge to throw everything in the kitchen sink into a single announcement. Along those lines, format the announcement for scannability with short paragraphs, bullet lists, even images and color for visual interest. No more big blocks of text. It's not pandering to make your announcements fun and engaging. It's simply recognizing how the brain works. With so many things competing for our attention, it's human nature to disregard the boring ones. Mix it up and use graphics. Add audio. Record a short, and I do mean short, less than 3 minutes if you can, video. Include references to things you know your students are interested in. If you're having fun with it, your students will too, and fun always keeps our interest. In my opinion, adding this layer to your announcements propels you right into the exemplary category for 2 of the OEI rubric items. It's certainly a creative, student-centered way to use the Canvas technology. And presenting what could be tedious reminders in a way that leverages your students' interests and extols the benefits to them absolutely counts as responsive in my book. You may ask, why should I go to the trouble of making my announcements interesting? Why not just send them out the way I always have? Well, I've noticed that the vast majority of instructors have a strong altruistic bent. So one reason to spice up your announcements is simply because you care about what's best for your students. But it's also true that active, engaged students have an increased chance of completing your course successfully. And that means better retention and completion rates, and likely increased demand for your courses. Successful students, successful instructor. Sweet, huh? So before you send out that next announcement, take off your instructor hat and channel your inner marketer. Believe it or not, it will support your student success. As the car guys would have said, well, you've done it again, wasted a perfectly good 4.5 minutes listening to us. But I'm glad you did. Until next time, this is Helen, wishing you a Canvalicious day.